Alright, hi everyone. Today, our episode of Brand That Matters, we have Terry in the house. Terry, of course, is the CEO of KyoChon. So maybe we get him. Terry, you introduce yourself a bit to our viewers.
Hi everyone. My name's Terry. I'm the CEO of KyoChon Sdn Bhd. We're the master franchisee for KyoChon 1991 Korean fried chicken restaurants in Malaysia.
Okay, for the record, Terry is the first non-Malaysian in our show Brand That Matters. Okay, Terry is from Australia.
Yep.
And I'm curious, Terry, what makes you go into F&B of all the businesses, of all the industries that you can be?
F&B is prior to F&B, I was in FMCG. I was previously with Nestle. And food is a logical extension because Malaysians here, what I heard, eats 4 meals a day.
Yes.
Right? We eat 4
You're
meals a day, right? So it's not just lunch, dinner, lunch, breakfast, and dinner.
And supper.
You also have a supper, or you have something in between dinner and lunch. So food was natural for me. It was a natural industry for me to go into. Just going into the notions of it, F&B would be it. And fried chicken, because Malaysians love fried chicken. It's a staple. It's natural.
So Terry, I don't understand one thing. You were the VP of Nestle back then.
Yeah.
Why must you take that plunge, leap of faith? Because you in a way you are sacrificing, a good life, and everything was taken care of. Come on, Nestle is a Fortune 500 company.
Yes.
So I'm sure they paid you quite well. So what makes you make that move?
First, let me explain. Yeah, Nestle did take care of me quite well. To this day, I'm very grateful for Nestle raising me. I spent 10 years with Nestle. But being your own boss is very different from being an employee, right? So I was very much drawn to the fact that I have my own time. I could decide to take a break whenever I needed to take a break. Of course, it's not the reality today, being contrary to reality. But the idea was I could be my own boss, right? I don't have to do my performance appraisals. I could decide how much I want to pay myself. I could decide where I wanted to go. I could decide the business strategy. So there was a lot of things that I decided it would be better to be an employer rather than be an employee.
I see. But maybe you can guide us through the first year when you started KyoChon in Malaysia. What will be your most memorable moment starting out?
The first year, so many things. I think even before the startup was very memorable. Even how I got KyoChon was really memorable. But when we first started, what's memorable is opening our first store in One Utama in December 2013.
Yes.
Now imagine that location, right? When we took it, when we got that location, I was told that location had changed owners 3 times in 3 years. In fact. So I said, oh shit, no choice. I wanted a better location in 1U at that time, but the leasing team was not confident in my product because it's a fried chicken product. They say, how is that different from from fried chicken, even though it's Korean? So they put me at that end. And we got that location, we opened it, and within the first, I think I worked in there for 3 months. The first 3 months, every day, we learned to box chicken. So at midnight, my most memorable experience is boxing chicken at midnight. So we order the chicken, it didn't arrive in the day, it only arrived at night. We're so busy during the day serving customers. At night, we give all our staff, we say, hey, look, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, please go home. So me and my partners are working there midnight boxing chicken.
When you say boxing chicken, what do you mean by that?
We age chicken one day before we sell it. So here in KyoChon, like, because the chicken, when we receive it every day, chicken is slaughtered fresh, right? We receive only chilled chicken. So when we receive it in the day, the chicken is still what we call is going through the stage of still bleeding, right? You know, sometimes you eat the chicken. Sometimes there's in the meat there's the black line. That's the blood.
Veins,
yeah, that's the blood,
Yes.
right? We bleed out the chicken, so we age it for a day. Then we use the chicken the next day. That's why there's no black lines in our chicken. It's fresh.
When you say you age it, do you all also do some marinade?
Yes, we marinate for some series, not all series, because our batter is very thin, right? So if you look at our kitchen, the chicken, we use a thin batter, like our original, our red series, and our honey garlic. It's a very thin batter. So we put the sauce on the outside and you eat straight into the chicken. You don't need to marinate. We marinate the honey series and all that because the skin is traditionally thicker. So marination is only for some series, not all.
Understand. So just now you were saying about chilled chicken. So what is the difference between frozen and chilled chicken?
Look, frozen chicken can be there for a long time. Fresh chicken is chicken that is slaughtered and it'll last for 3-4 days in a chiller, and then you have to use it, otherwise it goes bad. Frozen chicken is chicken that can last for as long as you want.
As long as you want means for how long?
Yeah, well, stay in the freezer for as long as you want. Have you
1
ever
year, 2 years?
if as long as you want to, yeah. But it'd be a lot more crumblier. If you keep frozen chicken for a very, very long time, it's very crumbly. You know, when you eat the meat, the fibers is very
It's not that tender.
Yeah, it's no longer together. It becomes fragmented. Whereas chilled chicken, you know, when you bite it, you can feel the juiciness, you can feel the fiber. But when you have a frozen chicken, it's very crumbly, easy to flake, and it doesn't have the same chicken taste and essence. That's why fresh is always better than frozen.
Definitely. So for fresh, this is something that you all insist on in terms of quality of the chicken
For 33 years, yeah.
for 33 years.
33 years.
So that's why the prices also, somewhat.
Yeah, okay. The price, there's a few things, right? You know, price is a function of the input cost, right? So you're talking the higher quality chicken. It's not just fresh chicken. We also use antibiotic and growth hormone free chicken. So it's very different from normal chicken. Secondly, the chicken that we are using is a bit more premium, right? And the sauces that we are putting on our chicken is all imported from Korea. It's not made locally. The sauce, like, you know, for example, the soy garlic sauce, the soy and the garlic is all grown in Korean sun. It's not made here.
I see.
It's all made in Korea from Korean ingredients and exported here, frozen to us.
Oh.
The sauces. So the taste is the same no matter where you are.
Yeah. So, okay. What will be the most valuable lesson you have learned during your career in F&B? I mean, the one part is the insistence on the quality side of things.
Right.
So, besides that, what other valuable lessons that you can impart to us?
Wow. Over the last 10 years or so, I've come across quite a few things. So many lessons. I think the most impactful one is don't use outsourced workers. We got in trouble for that. No such thing as legal outsourced workers, right? So I would tell any F&B operator, if you've been told outsourced workers, and you're using them to solve your current labor issues, that's probably, you're gonna sooner or later get in trouble for that. And the outsourced working agencies will tell you it's all okay, but it's human trafficking. It's and we got
What
in
if they
trouble.
can show you the what is that? The approval letter?
No, because the
permit?
approvals, you have to understand when F&B, when you get a foreign worker, it's tagged to your company. So, for example, KyoChon Sdn Bhd, we apply for foreign workers. The permit says KyoChon Sdn Bhd. I can't take that permit and lend or resell or release my
To
people
KK
to KK, because KK, maybe the guys work for you, but then when they come and the enforcement officers come and check, hey, it's to KyoChon Sdn Bhd, but you people are using it in KK Sdn Bhd. So that's illegal, because foreign workers are tagged to the applier, applicant. So there's no such thing as outsourced workers in Malaysia. No such thing. There are providers for it, but it is not a legal thing. And many F&B operators fall into this trap to solve their labor
Because
issue.
for F&B, I think most of you all face the same issue. which
Labor.
is labor. So how can we address that issue?
Look, it's a challenging thing, and that's I guess first and foremost you have to offer higher, more competitive salaries. Today, prior to the government offering, let's say minimum wage was 1,500, would you work for 1,500 ringgit to be
Because I want more.
huh?
I want more.
Yeah, of course you want more. Naturally, you want more. 1,500 is not an attractive salary for F&B, because it's very different. You're working, clearing plates, washing dishes, all that sort of stuff,
Working hour.
and that's 1,500 only last year. The year before that, you had 1,002, 1,001, and that. So of course, no local person will work for that sort of salary. It's not a living wage. Honestly speaking, it's not a living wage. We don't consider that a living wage here. At least in my company, not 1,500.
Okay. So how do we attract the right people for the labor side of things?
I think attracting the right people, there are multiple things. Beyond the what we call a living wage, a livable wage, you need to provide them an environment that they feel needed and feel important. Sometimes it's very easy, right, for me to say it, but you imagine, right, a guy coming in every day to serve and be a waiter or be a cashier. Does he feel he's important? His role is important? If he doesn't feel important, he won't stay long. There is nothing to stimulate him or her, and that is a challenge. So you have to give some career progression, because today no one wants to stay doing the same job over and over again for many years without any room for progress. Progress in terms of new skills, but also a higher salary, a higher wage, right?
Yes, yes.
As you get better, you want a higher wage. You can't be a cashier all your life. You can't be a chef all your life or a line cook all your life. So yeah, you got to provide those conditions for upskilling and growth, promotion and growth.
I see. So what would be the career advancement for for people that just joined KyoChon? Will they be open up to become a franchisee?
That is possible because we just started the franchising operations. We now take franchise. It's possible for sure, but you need to make sure the person has not just the skill of cooking and the skill of serving customers. They also need to have the business acumen. Because when money comes easily, we found in the past, when money comes easily, it also goes away easily.
True.
Yeah. So
Easy come, easy go.
It's for anyone coming to join KyoChon, we give them a 2 to 3 year career path. So in 3 years, they become a store manager. So their wage will go from 1,800 to 3,500, 4,500 within that space of that 3 years.
I see.
And there's also incentives in between that, and room for them to go to Korea for training. We just sent 10 people back and forth to Korea this year, just completed. So they were given a 1 week training, and obviously at night after training they get to enjoy some spending money,
Alright.
free flights, all this sort of stuff, and accommodation. These are things to train them and upskill them.
So okay, throughout your years, running KyoChon, I'm sure you have your ups and downs. So basically,
Many.
for your biggest, what would be your biggest gain? Biggest gain in your business?
Biggest gain in my business. I think, we are together today about 38 stores today. And just in if I remember, 2017 we were only 7 stores. So within the space of the last 7 years, we have gone to 38 stores.
31 extra.
Yeah, and this is including COVID time. During when we started COVID, we were 22 stores, and then in 2021, 2022, 2023, we continue to grow. The biggest gain would be business experience. It's very different as a corporate employee, where in Nestle everything was taken care of, right? I didn't have to worry about where my next dollar was coming from.
Yes.
And if, like, we didn't hit the sales target this month, no problem. In KyoChon, in my own business, my biggest gain would be learning that business experience and business management, leading people, telling people why it matters, convincing people to tell them, hey, look, I'm going to be late in paying your salaries this month. Can you give me a couple more days? These sort of leadership, coming down to the ground, inspiring people, motivating people, talking to suppliers, talking to bankers. These are all experiences that you would never get working in corporate.
That happened during the MCO time, or?
Yes, yeah, of course. MCO and 2022, when
Yes,
we, I don't know how much you remember, but in 2022 there was a chicken shortage in Malaysia. We were really hit badly. A chicken shop with no chicken. Or, that was a year where, we were buying chicken from the market. Whatever we got for our restaurants, we sent our purchasing guys to the markets, fresh market, to buy chicken every day. That's why if you look at all the job review sites about KyoChon, all the complaints are in purchasing sections, because people felt a lot of pressure to have to buy chicken. Imagine you join as a purchasing, you think it's a head office job, but then you're told to go out to market to buy chicken. Yeah, from Senayang, Selayang, and all these sort of places. So yeah.
What is the main reason we have this so-called chicken shortage?
It's a global geopolitics issue. So if you remember, in 2022 March, Russia invaded Ukraine. Ukraine accounts for 30% of the feed for this region. So when there was no feed, chickens can't grow. When you don't have chickens to feed the chickens, they can't. There's no way to get eggs or to get chickens to grow for meat. So what do they eat?
I see.
Yeah, so that was that is one of it. There are many factors as well, but that was the main factor. No feed, not enough feed, and to get feed for them at that time, they would have to import feed from Brazil, other places around the world, which would take too long and too expensive. So farmers felt, because there was a ceiling price, if you remember, there was a ceiling price, a control item.
Yeah.
So Malaysian farmers felt it was much more beneficial for their business to cut their losses and not grow the chicken.
Understand.
So as a player, everyone got less chicken.
So basically, biggest loss in your business will be that period of time?
Biggest loss of my business would be 2022 and 2023. I think 2023 was the year we first made our loss. First time we lost
Because of the chicken issue?
2023
Chicken
wasn't
shortage.
just chicken issue, it was multitude of issues. Price increases that were of a level never seen before. Inflationary prices. We were buying oil at 70, 80 bucks a tin to 190 a tin. And we use canola oil only. So that, doubled the price, and we change our oil every day, we don't reuse our oil. So imagine every day we're using, in a typical restaurant, 6 to 7 tins at 200 bucks, that's $1,400, 1,400 ringgit gone. Every day we're changing. So instead of something that's 700, it's now 1,400. It's big. It's big in F&B. There was exchange. If you remember that time, the Malaysian ringgit went to 4.7, 4.8.
The lowest.
All sorts of stuff happened. Inflationary pressures killed us.
Perfect storm lah. But I thought most of the operator, they just transfer pricing to their customers.
True, but we didn't. We only transferred 3%. We only increased price 3%. It does look like we're expensive, but when you think about it, we played a volume game. So all we were doing was just playing volume. We didn't increase price like that. If you check our price from 2022 and 2023, the price difference was 3%, less than 3% on average. we managed whatever we could. So we why it was challenging for 2023 was we cut marketing. A lot of marketing spend was cut. Instead of having 4 campaigns a year, we had 0. Instead of having influencers or whatever, we did 0. Instead of having 40, 50,000 of Facebook ads, we did 0 or 10,000. So these sort of things really affected our growth. So that was a tough year.
So how do you all recuperate the next year?
2024 was better because we already made a lot of fine tuning in 2023. We cut a lot of expenses. For example, agency, IT costs, certain IT, we changed our POS systems. We had a very expensive POS solution. We changed our brand management systems. We cut some headcounts, at corporate level. We did a lot of different things, optimizing our internet packages, optimizing our mobile phone corporate lines. Instead of 40 corporate lines, we cut it to 20. Instead of this, we did that. So all these optimizations along the way to save whatever we could, and that in 2024 we plowed back into marketing. So that's why we were better.
But I see the direction, even though those 2 years was a challenging year for you all, but you all never cut corners in terms of the ingredients. Just now you were saying about the granola, you were saying about the chilled chicken. Those will be considered more premium in terms of pricing. So have you ever thought about that? Since I cannot be getting fresh chicken, why not compromise it with frozen chicken?
Let me tell you the story, right? In Korea, they also only use fresh chicken. Now the brand has been around for 33 years. Korea also was affected with no chicken. Or Korea was affected, not just Malaysia. It's a global, like around that area. If you notice, the Ukraine supplied a lot of chicken feed for Asia, right? So with no chicken feed, Korea was also affected. The farmers don't have chicken. They also didn't sell frozen chicken. They only sell fresh chicken. So how could our brand owner, principal, not go into frozen and we would go into frozen? We would be cheating our customers. Our whole premise until today has been to provide our customers with chilled chicken because we believe it tastes better. We chilled chicken, antibiotic hormone free, canola oil, it's much better, and stay imported from Korea. Don't make it here locally. And this is how we preserve that quality, because I believe the true consumer, our loyalists, appreciate this. They rather you charge me more than charge me the same but reduce the quality. I think our consumers appreciate
Don't
that.
compromise on the quality.
Don't charge me more lah. Even for you and me, right? Like for example, if we like something, like we want to buy, for me, I rather get a burger that used to fill me. If it's $20, right? I'll rather pay $22 for the same burger rather than pay $20 for a smaller burger. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes.
Or a burger with different
value,
ingredient or the taste.
Yes.
That's not what I pay for. All right, I rather pay more for something because we understand price inflationary pressure.
Hey, talk about oil. What's the difference between granola,
canola,
sunflower, and all this palm oil?
The smoke point. So if you use normal oil, like say normal cooking oil, it cannot be used for deep frying past a certain temperature, like 180 degrees, which is what we fry at. If you use it at that, the oil will start to burn. You smell the burning. Sometimes you go to restaurants, when you go outside, you say, hey, something's burning. That's oil, high smoke point. Like you never deep fry with an olive oil because it will be cancerous, right? When it's burnt oil. You want to cook something in burnt oil? I don't think you do, right? So canola oil has a high smoke point, so we use that. It's also it leaves no taste. If you cook with palm oil, there's a taste in the oil. We don't use that. We use canola oil.
I see. So okay, Terry, this year how old are you?
I'm 46.
46. Okay.
I look older than you though.
So when you became a millionaire?
Wow. When I became a millionaire, I guess when I left Nestle, I was a millionaire. Does that count? I left
Yes.
When I left Nestle, I was a millionaire. By virtue of the fact that
At what age?
I left Nestle at 34.
34.
Yeah, that's because my pension fund in Nestle, for my 10 years, accumulated to a sizable value, and because I was an expatriate with Nestle for 10 years, I was able to accumulate a savings. So I had $1 million, but a million doesn't go very far. That million has gone into the business instead.
I see. So, so you were the youngest VP in Nestle.
Nestle Philippines, yeah.
In Nestle Philippines.
Yeah.
What age were you?
31.
back then? 31.
Yeah, I was looking after the powdered beverage, which is Milo and Nestea. So it's ringgit 1 billion over 1.6 billion ringgit turnover per annum.
Wow. So you see, not necessarily you have to become a businessman to be a millionaire.
No, you have to be very clear. That was because the business in Nestle was large, and I was an expatriate, so they took care of me. But if I was doing a 1 billion ringgit business, I'm sure I will be much multiple times.
Yes, definitely. So okay, the other questions is looking at hindsight, you've been in business for so long already.
Sure.
What would you do if you weren't afraid right now?
I'll be a Bitcoin investor, I guess.
Investor.
10 years ago, if I put the money into Bitcoin, the same amount of money I put into my business, I would be a billionaire today.
Wow.
10 years ago, right? I think everyone also says the same. If I put 1 million ringgit into Bitcoin 10 years ago, I would be a billionaire ringgit wise today.
Yes. So how about business wise?
Business.
What would you do if you weren't afraid?
What would I do if I wasn't afraid? I would have expanded much more faster. There was a stage in 2019. I opened 15 stores, and that scared me. I don't know if we went from 7 stores to 22 stores in the space of a year. It's very scary to see your business suddenly you had 200 people, then you had 600 people. Your business went from 200 salaries to 200 people to 600 people's salaries, and that scared me because I felt like I was losing control. Issues wise, from the 7 perfectly run stores to 22 stores, some of which were managed well, some were not managed well. It's a very big challenge, and that's where I said, let's stop for a little while. Let's stop for a little while. And if I wasn't afraid, I would have gone and expanded much faster.
But some of the businesses is because of over expanding that causes them to be behind.
Yep.
Is it true in F&B? Let's say you have 40 stores or 50 stores or 60 stores. Some will make you a lot of money, some will break even, and of course there will be some that might not be making a profit.
Yeah, of course, because that's the basket, right? So there is even when you buy stocks, right? When you buy or invest in stocks, right? Some stocks will make more money, some stocks will not grow as much, some stocks will lose. But that doesn't mean it's no good. The net gain is still greater. It's just optimizing. So F&B, yes, I have some stores that don't make a lot. I have some stores that make a lot. We just need to optimize it, because I think number one, it's operational issues, because some stores have historically done that sort of business before, but due to the wrong people in charge, due to negligence or whatever issues, it's fallen, and those are the ones that need more effort to regrow and get them back.
So what will be the right balance on shop fronts that are profit operation wise and break even operational wise? Do you all have a balancing act?
We don't go by number of stores, the balance, because at the end of the day, you just need to know what's your break even point, right? At total corporate. If you're not net negative, then you're in the right direction at this stage. So there are some shop lots that make a lot. There are some shop lots for us that don't make a lot, just break even. There are some delivery stores that make a lot, some that don't make as much. And there are malls, equally just the same. So at the end of it, net, if you are in a situation that you are not pulled back by these stores, maybe the delivery store, they might lose money, but it's small amount, 1,000, 2,000, or just break even with a little bit of profit, 1 to 2,000. Doesn't mean they're bad stores. They're still accretive. So just continue and address those issues as you go.
So basically, is at what juncture do you make the call that, okay, I will close down this store?
Typically, I will close down a store if it's prolonged losses. If there is no chance to recover. For example, I closed a store in Toppen, in Johor. I spent a lot of money.
On the Brown.
Yeah. We open in Aeon Trabao now. We closed the Toppen store after almost 5 years. Look, the mall and the people behind it, they're good, but the customers for some reason wasn't going to Aeon Trabao. The one going to Toppen, they were going next door. It's established. They go to Toppen for IKEA, but they don't go for the other brands around it. And I think that was something that we can't control as the tenant. We couldn't be the ones to bring the crowd. The mall has to, through their own tenant mix,
branding,
marketing, and all that sort of stuff. IKEA definitely full of people,
yes,
but why is the rest of the mall doesn't spill over? Whereas if you go to Aeon Trabao, everywhere is fluid, it's flowing. The energy is very different, and so that is one of those decisions that was difficult, that we did, like, after losing some money, even though the investment was still big, we decided it was not worth to continue.
Wow. So the best business advice you have gotten, and who was it from?
Best business advice. Wow. My father-in-law said this to me many years ago. He said to me that winners don't quit and quitters don't win. So he's indirectly telling me to keep going. It's very easy to quit. Yes. It's very easy to give up, when you have challenges. But I think tough times don't last. Sometimes it's 1 year, 2 years, sometimes 4 years, 5 years. But there'll be a time you can overcome it. And tough people outlast those. I've seen businesses 30, 40 years old. They have gone through multiple crises. Nestle is 150 years old. They've gone through 3 crises. 3 crises. Come on, depression, the World War, and they're still around today.
That is big crisis.
Yeah. So, COVID came, affected the world, just like the depression and, the World War. But pass up 4 years. Everything takes time.
So basically, what throughout your journey, entrepreneurship journey, who was the most important person that helped you carve your entrepreneur's charisma?
This one, without a doubt, is my wife. My wife has been a cornerstone for me. She was the one that encouraged me into entrepreneurship. She is the one that has supported me through thick and thin, even the darkest times. Right, when nobody else is doing, she's still with me doing. And yeah.
So she was the one that encouraged you to get out from your comfort zone, high-paying jobs and all that.
My father-in-law and my wife and my are obviously important in that. But my wife is the one that has been the most, in terms, supportive, and she has she has a good eye and a very good spirit when it comes to entrepreneurship. She has, in many ways, much more business minded than myself.
Is she holding any position in your company?
Yes, she holds the second most important one. She's the chief operating officer, so she handles the operations and HR. So the biggest chunk of the business is done by her.
Wow.
The immense amount of pressure.
So, I mean, when we talk about F&B, just now you were talking about the top end. So, what will be the most important factors in choosing the right location? Because, for example, Topper next to IKEA, looks like can't go that wrong lah.
There's so many things like sometimes it's leasing teams, like the experience, like sometimes it's location. You have to look. Let's just be honest here. In Malaysia, there's a saturation of shopping malls.
Yes.
Right. So the population is fixed at 33 million. But we are opening more malls that we don't need to open, and that's causing a lot of people to spread across different malls. 10 years ago, I think within the last 10 years we've opened 20, 30, 40 malls.
Yeah.
Right. We had how many square feet added? TRX added 1 million plus square feet. Bukit Jalil 2 million square feet. IOICD Mall another 1.5 million square feet. So all of this, but the population hasn't grown.
Yes.
And so that has only spread the business all around. What's important when I look for a place is obviously the leasing people, the brands that are in there, access. There's no point having a nice mall, but it's hard to get in, hard to get out. The demographics in that area. Sometimes you open a nice mall, but the surrounding demographics don't support that mall in a sense that maybe there are lower end of the market, and you can't fit a higher end brand in there, and that would be catastrophic at a later stage as well. And going to a place that is serving, one of my biggest lessons was opening in a office building. Many years in my earlier days, I opened Hap Seng, and that business was a Monday to Friday business. And my business was only during lunch because come 5 o'clock everyone went home, so no one was eating dinner, and then there was no Saturday Sunday crowd. So that was one of the most expensive lessons also I learned.
So you closed it down?
We did the first 3 years. Because I had pavilion next door, Manor Hap Seng, which is too far away, and it made no sense for that amount of business that I had to fix the number of people to stay at Hap Seng. They were not motivated as well. In fact, they felt very demotivated when they couldn't get the sales on a weekend, or at night we're operating. We still pay utilities, we still pay the lighting, we still pay the air conditioning, but you don't have crowd.
Understand. So for this year, what are the current trends that you observe in F&B Malaysia?
This year, I think the premiumization of coffee shops, the kopitiams. During COVID, everyone had so many ideas on how they love coffee shop. Malaysia is a coffee shop culture, but I think the young and they don't want to have a coffee shop in the hot, no aircon, just fan kind of environment anymore. So the coffee shop, the higher class coffee shop has really grown and sprouted.
Like
Oriental, new places. They are coming up. So that is where I feel that's changing.
So are there any emerging opportunities, as in untapped segment for F&B to explore on?
Well, I think obviously that one, but I give you an interesting story, right? In Malaysia, if I added all the restaurants, all the chicken restaurants let's just add all the chicken chains, right? I add KFC 600 stores, McDonald's 300 plus 350, Texas 80-90, KyoChon, Mary Brown 100. Let's say I add all the chicken chains that we know of. It may be about 2,000 restaurants, chicken restaurants, for 33 million people. You know, Korea is 56 million people, right? So almost double. But they have 40,000 chicken restaurants.
Wow.
So Malaysia is the world's highest consumer of chicken. The average Malaysian consumes about 54 kilos of chicken per year.
Oh, 54.
Higher than anyone else in the world except for US. Except for USA, Malaysia is second, right? At 54 kilos for 33 million people, I think the possibility of F&B, chicken, being a chicken play, is still good.
So what will be the advice that you will give to people that want to embark on F&B journey? Because some says if you want your friend to go bust, ask them to get into F&B.
It's not really true. F&B is challenging because it's very dynamic and it's constantly evolving, and it's very intense in competition. But I find many people that have gone into F&B as an investor rather than an operator.
Yes.
And these are the ones that go bust. So when you have money, you think hire somebody, let them run it for you, and then everything will be good. That doesn't work. Most likely you'll go bust. Even when we started KyoChon, I made a promise to the owner of KyoChon, the founder of KyoChon, that I will run it personally. And we did. We learned. We spent the first few years learning. So my advice to anyone going to F&B, you gotta work it lah. You gotta be sure this is what you want to do, because it's easy to make money, but it's also easy to lose money because customers have so much choice. What is the reason they still have to come back to you, right? And F&B is about cost management, right? Food costs and labor costs. If you are relying on a manager to run it, who is a salaried manager and no stakes in it, what is in it for him to run it well?
Yeah.
And that will go lah. And also, whoever wants to go to F&B, I'll be very honest with you. Time, you don't your holidays are really the off peaks.
Yeah, the off peaks.
Yeah, you can't take a holiday during peak. So if you think of a Christmas holiday or New Year holiday or Chinese New Year or Hari Raya holiday, I think that's you can forget it lah, because that's impossible. You will have to join everyone else after. So after 1 week after Hari Raya, then possibly you can go on holiday. 1 week after Chinese New Year, maybe you can go on holiday. You can't go on the time that the festive periods.
On the peak period,
you
so
can't.
to say.
Yeah.
So if I were to meet you 1 year from now, what will you be celebrating?
1 year from now, I should be celebrating my 50th store. I also should be celebrating, I think a business recovery. We're in recovery stage, but I would like to be. I just signed on a brand ambassador for KyoChon, which is this Byung-woo Soup. So I would like to be celebrating to bring him here into Malaysia, and yeah, these are the things I will be celebrating. My 50th store and ambassador, like how we started 10 years ago.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, for you, what commitment have you made that you no longer believe in?
What commitment have I made that I no longer believe in? I made many commitments, so I'm trying to think which one will I no longer believe in. No, that's a little bit harder. I need a bit of time to think about this one. I'm sorry. Yeah, we may come back to that.
Yeah, sure. Sometimes it's a belief system that when we first started, we are all.
Oh, that one's very easy. Actually, yeah. So let me give you one. In all honesty, I have a fear that I was never good enough. I didn't come from a wealthy family, and I always felt that I'm not worthy to ask for help. and people, I'm the first to volunteer to help people, but I'm the last to ask people for help. And so hopefully in a year's time, I would like to change that belief. Well, I am changing that belief now. I'm trying very hard to be open up and asking people, hey, look, can you help me? I tend to, in the past, historically, tend to carry it on my shoulders, and it's difficult. And my wife tells me that I need to be a little bit more open about it and ask people for help, and I should do that.
You don't like to feel indebted?
It's not indebted. It's a belief that I am not good enough. It's really weird, right? Despite all my achievements and accomplishments, I still to this day feel I'm not good enough. And it's strange. Some of the most successful business people I've met have said the same thing about themselves. That they feel maybe it's conditioning. When we're young, our parents, especially the Asian parents, they always compare, like, hey, you got number 5, or you got number 2, who got number 1? You know what I mean?
Yes,
There's this comparison, and that maybe indirectly that has affected me. So there's Asians like to compare, right? So indirectly maybe it has been embedded in me that I'm not good enough because I'm always constantly being compared, and you're always comparing yourself to the person better than you rather than a person that is not as good as you. So it's something to take note of.
Maybe this is a driver that makes you where you have become now.
Would it be better to compare myself with somebody who's better, or would it be better to be grateful for what I have today? That is a question to address.
Understand. I think different age will have different driver for us.
Yeah.
So is that talking about talents, what are the talents that you have but you did not utilize it?
I think I'm very good at, I feel like I missed the opportunity to be more collaborative with people. I love meeting new people and working with them and introducing and bridging people. But I found that I have not utilized that talent in to form collaborations. Only lately, the last few months, where I have reached out and say, hey, does it make sense? Can we work together? And now, after I did that, I find that I enjoy it very, very much. So, for example, I'm collaborating with a brand to bring some ice cream to Malaysia. I'm collaborating with another brand to do some snacks in my restaurant. And this collaborative effort makes me feel good, because for one, I bring another brand to work with me. So as a total, we are stronger as a brand because we appeal to our customers, right? I help them get reach. I get sales. I get that partnership and that shared success, and that is something that I didn't exploit for many years. I didn't get this, didn't practice this skill.
Yeah. So, okay, last question.
Sure.
Terry, what will be the next milestone, probably in 3 years' time, 3 years horizon, that you want to achieve?
Oh, that's an easy one. I've got a 5-year plan. So my next 5 years, I'm looking at 160 stores to open the next 160 stores. That's the goal.
160s, all in Malaysia?
All in Malaysia. I can go overseas and all that sort of stuff, but we will work on fixing Malaysia first, because I think this, like I said, it's only 2,000 chicken restaurants here, serving 33 million people. Even if we make it 4,000, double it.
Yeah.
It's still the 4,000 restaurants versus 40,000 in Korea. And Koreans eat fried chicken only for dinner, for snack, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock onwards to 2 o'clock in the morning. They don't even do it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Malaysians eat fried chicken in the morning with nasi lemak. They eat fried chicken with rice for lunch and fried chicken for dinner. So there's so much opportunity here in this market.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
So with that, thanks a lot, Harry, for your time and your sharing.
Welcome.
I'm sure our viewers will benefit a lot from the insights that you share.
Sure.
Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
All
KK.
right.
Thanks.